Well, hi. We're back for another week of uh, isolation and drawing together. And so this week I thought we would do something a little bit different, maybe a lot a bit different. We're going to improvise. What I mean by that, have you ever played the game where you look up at the clouds and you see a shape and then you try to figure out what that shape looks like? Well, there's a great creativity game that you can do that is kind of like that. It really helps stretch your creative muscles a little bit. So what we're going to do is I'm going to clear this layer. I just was playing to start out. So let me clear the layer. Nice way to erase. Remember, I'm going to be working digitally. I'm using a program called ArtRage. If you have a tablet, you can get ArtRage for very little, just a couple of dollars. If you are working on a PC, then it's a little bit more expensive. But it's a great program, but you don't have to use what I'm using. I'm going to keep reminding you of my 5 rules for art students. 1 is have fun. 2 is it doesn't have to be perfect. 3, it doesn't have to look like mine. 4, use whatever you have. So whatever art supplies you have, you can do this exercise with them. And we're going to try several different things so you can experiment a little bit and see what you like to do. And then number 5 is don't quit. Keep trying, keep playing, keep having fun, keep doing whatever you can to be creative and draw and just have a good time. And you'll be surprised at how much fun you'll have and how much you'll learn. So I'm going to start out with a pencil. And I've got it set to blue, so my color here is kind of a nice bluish color. And I'm going to erase that because I don't want to start out with that. There we go. Okay. Now, the first way to do this exercise, or this game, or this creativity exercise, if you want to call it. Whoops. I don't want to move my paper out of the way there. That's one of the downsides of digital work. You got to be careful where your hand hits. Okay. You start out with just a line, and it's got to be a random line, a random shape. So I'm going to just do that, and that's where you start. Now, what I want you to do is, if you have a piece of paper, if you have a pencil, whatever, I want you to get your piece of paper, and I want you to draw a line just like that. It doesn't have to look like that. Make a squiggle of any kind. And the main rule in this is you're not allowed to look at that and say, oh, I don't like that squiggle. I'm going to change it to something else. Whatever you start with, that's what you're stuck with, at least for that exercise. So what I have is a squiggle. Now what I want to do is I want to look at it and see if it reminds me of anything, or see if I can turn it into anything. And right now, again, just keep using your pencil. But you can look at yours. I'm going to look at mine here and see if there's something that this reminds me of. And sometimes it's very, very challenging. You are allowed to erase. You're allowed to modify your mark. You just aren't allowed to start over from scratch. So the first thing that I see as I look at that is I see what looks like a very wide open mouth. And so I'm going to erase here. And this actually looks kind of like a nose. So I'm going to kind of turn that into a nose. Big nostril here. Whoa. And put a little curve down the side there. And I'm going to put some lines there because that's a nose. I want it to look like his eyes are maybe closed. What if we did this? Huh? Ooh, he looks sad, doesn't he? Wow. Okay. Well, I'm not sure I like that. Let's make those a little bit bigger. And so we got a big nose, and I'm going to kind of finish off his mouth here. I'm going to erase this. And he doesn't have any teeth, so maybe I should give him some teeth. And he's got a very big chin there. And so let's maybe give him a double chin. Maybe little tiny ears. Whoa, that's another side. Whoa, now, now you're seeing the joys of digital art here. Okay, let me make him bigger. There, where are you? Okay, there I go. Okay. Well, I hadn't planned on that. That's one of the surprises of digital art. Let's do it this way. I use my mouse and my keyboard. Okay. And let's see. So he's got some teeth there and a double chin and a little ear. What I was trying to do was erase just a little bit there. And maybe a little bit of hair around the side, a little bit of hair on top. Oh, and you know what? He's kind of leaning back, isn't he? Whoa. So you know what that makes me think of? And because he looks kind of sad, you know what? And he's got his mouth wide open. Where do you lean back with your mouth wide open and you're not always really happy to be there? Yeah, it's at the dentist. And so the dentist's drill is about to go in to this guy's mouth. And he is about to get a humongous cavity filled. And let's finish his mouth off there. You know, you can kind of darken in a little bit here. And I'm doing this all in one color because this isn't really supposed to be a, finished work of art. This is just a creativity exercise to get you learning to look at things and see what you can turn them into. So there we have our man at the dentist who is about to get a tooth filled, and you can tweak it and play with it and do all sorts of things. That's what I came up with. Now, what can you come up with your squiggle? I'm going to erase my man here. I'm going to just clear the layer that's a little bit faster. Okay. And I'm going to start with another one. But this time, let's start with maybe some paint. Okay, so now I'm using some paint. Whoa, there we go. Sometimes my computer has to catch up with me. And I'm going to do the same thing. Just going to make some squiggles. I'm still working in blue. Now this time I've done more than one squiggle, but still I haven't really been trying to draw anything in particular. I've just been playing. So now I have my squiggle down, but what am I going to make out of it? I'm not sure. As I look at it, I see something here, but I'm not sure what I'm seeing just yet. Now, one of the cool things with Art Rage is it really, if you, depending on how you set it, it acts like you're really using oil paint or watercolors or whatever kind of paint you're working with. So, like if I go with a different color here, let's see, how about a little yellow, and it's actually going to kind of mix in. So I've got some very wet paint here, and I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I'm just laying in some color and kind of having fun with the shapes. And sometimes that's cool just to do that, is just to play with the shapes, and sometimes then as you're playing with the shapes, you'll begin to see something in them. And so right now I have no idea what I am drawing or painting actually. I'm just kind of having a good time. But sometimes it's like, I'm going to pick a different color here. Let's go to kind of a purple. Sometimes as you begin to work, what you're painting begins to become, it's kind of like a sculptor who has a big block of clay or a big block of rock, and it's like, well, what are you gonna sculpt? Well, I don't know. I've got to see what's inside there. So, you know what I see there as I begin to draw, and as I begin to paint more, I'm seeing. You can tell me if you figure it out while I'm drawing it. Or while I'm painting it. Let's see, I need something dark here. Are you beginning to figure it out? Yeah. Okay, so I've got right now somebody sitting in the driver's seat. You'll notice my figure drawing is not too focused at the moment. I'm not trying to draw a great figure here. Oops, something other than that. Let's go up here. All right. And, the one thing I can see with this poor car is it is going to have some serious difficulties because this little section here is going to scrape along the road. Wow. So what am I going to do about that? Well, he's either going to need bigger tires or he's going to need wings. I don't know which. Let's give him some bright headlights there. And let's give the car a number. And I think I'm going to have to make those tires big, because otherwise this poor guy is not going to be able to drive. And we want him to be able to drive. Well, let me do that. And then I will take my eraser and I'm going to just erase that little bit of the squiggle there. I could have erased more, but and let's give our guy a face of sorts. I'm painting on top of black paint, so that's not going to work very well. Anyway, it's a really, really ugly car, but you see the point. You can create and really challenge your imagination just by drawing something, a squiggle or a line or whatever, and seeing what you can make it into. And it's a really, really fun game. I hope that you will try a few and try with different media. Try some with paint, try some with pencil. If you have chalk, try a little bit of that. And sometimes you can even mix and match, do more than one. So that's our drawing exercise this week. We are getting creative and just trying to experiment and seeing what we can come up with. Next week we will try something different. I don't know what we're going to do yet, but next week, Tuesday is when these will come out. So next Tuesday, check back with me and we'll draw or paint something else. I'm Jim Pence with See the Light. Thanks for watching. Now I got to figure out how to turn this thing off. Whoop, that wasn't it. Ha! Actually, I'll show you those. Just in case you were wondering what you could do. Let's see. Oop, that's not it. Anyway, those are some of the pictures that I do in Art Rage. So I don't always just sit around and play and do messy stuff. But it's fun. Enjoy yourself. Okay, now I'm going to try to turn this off. See you next week.